a really good comment on my last video about you gotta love this stuff, about the pencils that I'm using, and one of the things that I do want to cover on this channel is the equipment that I use and materials that I use to draw my manga. Now, I don't want to get down the line of becoming a review channel where I'm trying out all sorts of different stuff just to basically make easy YouTube content, but I do want to focus on the things that I have found that have worked really well for me. So first off is pencils, and really, what can you say about pencils? They're used for drawing with, and generally speaking you can erase the lines that you draw with them, but the pencils that I've tended to settle on drawing with are incredibly basic, really. Now, as I'm sure you're probably going to get sick of hearing me say, I live in Japan, so the materials that I have available to me might be a bit different to what's readily available to you, and maybe if they are available, they might be quite expensive compared to perhaps some domestic products that you may have available to you, just purely because of the import-export related matters. But the pencils that I tend to use are Mitsubishi 9800s or 9800, depending on how you want to pronounce that number. And they're just a HB variety. These are readily available here in Japan. They're incredibly cheap. They are basically considered school grade pencils. I work as an English teacher here in Japan outside of drawing my manga, and I very frequently see some of my students using these pencils for their schoolwork, not for drawing, just for writing with, and ostensibly they tend to call these pencils for general writing, shall we say, but I find them very, very good for drawing with. I find that they have excellent quality leads. I use a really good Carl pencil sharpener, which I'll talk about in another quick video like this. But I never have a problem with broken leads or the leads snapping or anything like that. Of course, if I drop it from a reasonable height, the lead may break if it lands on that edge of the pencil. But I find the consistency of these pencils to be way above the quality of what you'd pay for the equivalent price, say, from my home country of the UK, which is mostly populated these days by absolutely dreadful rubbish at the low end. So one of the things that people often say of Japan is that, well, actually it's not as futuristic as it may give the impression of, like they're still using fax machines and floppy disks, and I think there is probably some truth to that, but one of the things that comes as an upshot of that is that the quality of the stationery here is way above perhaps the entry level of my home country, the UK, meaning that pencils such as the Mitsubishi 9800s, even though they are ostensibly aimed at school kids doing their schoolwork and scribbling with and all this kind of stuff, I find the actual quality of drawing is fantastic with these. Looking at the Mitsubishi Pencil catalogue for this year, the 9800 series comes in 2H, H and F on the harder side of things, and then on the slightly softer side, the HB variety, which I'm talking about in this video, and also B and 2B. They don't come in 3B or 4B varieties. For that you will need the 9000 series, which is identical, but they just don't have the blunt ends to the pencils, if that makes sense. They're actually capped off. And whilst the catalogue says that these are for jimuyo enpitsu, which basically means office use, I draw with them and they work brilliantly. So yeah, definitely my recommendation. Other pencils that I've used that I have found very good quality are the Tombow line. They have the 8900 line, which is probably the equivalent. Those have been very good, but I have tended to settle on the Mitsubishi range because I can easily get these everywhere I go in Japan. You can buy a pack of 3 from Daiso, which is 100 yen store here, so with the tax 110 yen for 3 very good quality pencils is excellent. And likewise, you can tend to buy these in boxes of 10 for anywhere between about 450 and 600 yen. So actually it works out pretty well buying these from Daiso because, or is it a box of 12 that they come in? I can't remember now. It might be a box of 12 actually, sorry. But yes, they're incredibly good value for money, very consistent, they sharpen beautifully, and yeah, they have a really nice look to them as well. I know it seems a bit strange talking about the look of a pencil. I mean, as long as it draws it, I mean, who cares what the thing looks like? But actually, the aesthetic of the pencil is really nice. Some of the stationery, such as the aforementioned Tombow 8900s and the packs of 12s that they come in, actually look really classic and really stylish, but not that that really matters a jot. But the actual design of these pencils has a very nice sort of dark green classic look that I appreciate. And just to finish off on, the only thing I would say is that you may find that they are a little bit smudgy. I probably have some bad working practices where I don't put a scrap bit of paper underneath my wrist all the time, meaning that my drafts sometimes smudge a bit. But what the heck, you know, I'm the one creating the artwork, and if it works for me, it works for me, kind of thing. But if you do find that could be a problem, maybe going for the H variety might be a bit more to your liking, because they will just be that little bit harder and a little bit less prone to smudging, and presumably will erase a little bit more cleanly still. I only say that as a caveat because I've never used them, but I have used the 2B pencils, and I found those just to be a bit too soft for my liking, and were very prone to smudging, as you might imagine for a softer pencil. But yeah, that's it for this one. I will cover another of the pieces of equipment I use in a subsequent video. I hope you're all doing very well, and yeah, leave me a comment down below if you've got any questions. I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.